Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on a journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney
and Kelly. Hi, Sydney.
Hey, Mom. I feel like you beat me to that.
I did today.
For a while. I feel like you've been beating me
I've been
to that.
kind of on purpose.
So mean.
Sometimes I just try to
So mean.
get the jump.
Yes.
But that's okay.
So you went flying recently.
I went to Pennsylvania to see Lauren, and then we took a little jaunt to New York, which was fun. And
Yeah.
on my way back, and no delays, nothing. It was pretty amazing.
Lucky.
So I went. I was in Philadelphia, and I'd gotten dropped off a little early, so because of Dad, I can get into the little lounge area.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I went in, and I happened to get on the elevator with two other people and a couple, and where are you going? I said, San Antonio. And they said, well, that should be easy. I said, well, you hope it is.
Yeah.
And they said, they were going to
Italy.
Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
I thought Italy too, but Ireland. And she was, I'm going to lose sleep.
And complaining
You're going
about
to Ireland. Don't complain.
Yeah, please don't complain.
So anyway, they were nice enough. So we, went in different places. And I was getting ready to go, and I happened to pass their table, said hello, and they said, now, where are you from? And I said, Texas. And said, oh, we kind of thought that because of your accent.
Oh, my God.
And all I could think of was, I have an accent?
That is so funny. I mean, everybody does, but yours is not, I don't think ours is that bad.
And when I talked to him, I didn't think. I try to be conscious of when I am, because I do lay it on thick sometimes, and sometimes I don't. But I thought that was so funny.
I know, and you just, as like a person, you don't hear it necessarily as much anyway, but I really don't think.
Around it. But
I think because, I don't know, we've lived in all sorts of parts of the country.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know if we have that much fun, but that is so, I always think that's funny.
Because I don't think you do. But
No. But other accents are so funny. Like when I went to Vegas to visit with my friend Mackenzie, we ran into some Canadians.
Oh.
And they were like, because she's, from Texas too.
Right.
They loved how we talked. It was so funny.
Isn't it?
And then I was like,
Yeah.
well, I just want you to talk.
Right, because
I wanna
Canadians,
hear
I
your
love
accent.
there, right?
And
Isn't
then,
that funny?
and depending on like the people I'm around, because I mean, I'm sure too, it's like, then after they say they like it, it's like, all right, I'll put on my accent.
I'll put my
then.
accent on, right?
But then, and there are certain people like in our family that have thicker, so then I'll lay it on a little thicker. Or like there are friends that I have that don't have as much, so then I feel like I take it away. It's just, I feel like I can fluctuate. I feel like we all do.
Well, we all do. I just remember when we moved to Tennessee, and we were right on kind of on the border of Mississippi.
Yes, to Mississippi.
And I was like, don't be talking like that. Mississippi. And,
Such an interesting accent.
It is. One guy was telling me, he said, he was talking, and our realtor's name was Joy, and he had come to do some painting because she'd recommended him, and he said, oh, and Joey, and I thought, I don't know
Joey?
Joey. It took me about 3 days of his painting to go,
Joy.
Yeah. So it just depends. It's all fun, and
I feel like
where
speed
we
of my
are.
talking too changes
talk
depending
really
on.
fast.
I do talk very fast, but it'll get even. My friend Stephanie talks really fast,
Yes.
and so we will.
Oh, yeah.
But then there are other people that talk, and so I feel like sometimes I'll change. But I do
fast.
talk. I do talk fast.
You do talk fast. But anyway,
And
so that was
accents are
just
funny.
fun.
That's
Accents
interesting.
are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we decide how we want to do that.
Oh, good transition.
I'm trying to segue here, aren't
to our decisions. This one was
Yes.
actually requested by one of
yeah.
my friends about how to make decisions, how to think through that, because her dilemma is people, oftentimes she just hears, well, just pray about it. Okay, but like, how do you really make a decision?
Yeah, and I think, because one of the things I think about is, okay, pray about it. I don't want to discard that, or just say no. But to me, what does pray about it mean? Right? And for me, praying about it means I'm going to open myself up to be receptive to things I hear. I have a
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
most of the time, you know, that helps me make decisions. God gave it, you know, and I think I use the tools and I'm open
Yeah.
to hearing things. And yes, you know, and being open to the spirit, to your higher power, whatever you want to call God, that you're
Yeah.
being open.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit on my couch and go, I wonder why, you know.
Do you know
hadn't
the word
happened.
that came to my head when you said, okay, what does pray about really mean? It's one that the United Methodist Church likes to use all the time.
What is it?
Discernment.
Discernment. Yes, that's
You
a
must
big.
discern. And they invite people up at the end of every conference going, if you've discerned that you would like to serve, and then, you know, it's
Yeah.
like alwaage discernment.
It is. There, discernment
Which is a type of decision making.
right? It is. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So that's
yes,
just an
I like
interesting
that.
start
So what,
to it, right?
Yes, what pray about it, you know, really can
Right.
mean and what you can do. So I want to touch on first, in your notes you mentioned like that you forced some decisions. Can you like recall any specific
ones?
specifically?
Yes. Well, I've talked, or we'll talk, I think, about a job I took.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
mentioned that in the
We've talked about
past.
that before. Mhm.
And that was a forced decision. That the only thing that went out into it was, oh my gosh, desperation. I want a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, just because it wasn't the best decision doesn't mean that some good didn't happen within it.
Right.
I think I bought a car one time on a bad decision.
That's an expensive one.
It was an expensive one.
bad
It
decision.
was an expensive one.
I know, because I was trying to think, I'm
the
like,
seats weren't real comfortable.
anyway,
Anyway,
I don't think I have any like big decisions that I've forced necessarily. I think it's been
no.
like little quick things. You're like, I maybe should have, chosen this to eat instead, or like,
Right, or,
I
you
forgot to
know-
eat and I really should have decided to,
yeah. A lot of time, and we make decisions nonstop
the time.
all day, and
Yes.
but sometimes those big ones come along.
Yeah. Like
that
if
we
you're gonna
force.
move, or if you're gonna go
Yeah.
to college, or if you're gonna, what job you're gonna take, or if you know,
Right.
yeah.
Kids, what am I going to do with my kids? What am I going to, I mean, sometimes, yeah. And those can be forced decisions, if we just go, okay, I just got to find it. Oh, yes.
What?
Okay. I need to put my do not disturb on. Sorry. One time for childcare,
Yeah.
the sitter that y'all had for years quit. Or she was done, she was moving.
done. Yeah.
And I don't know how
Was that
forced
Melissa?
it was. Melissa,
Okay.
yeah, she was so good.
Yeah.
And I needed somebody else part time, and it was I went there and I didn't feel great. It wasn't, and y'all gonna think I make bad decisions for my kids.
No,
it wasn't awful, but there was something
Off.
I just don't know. So I think I don't know if you or just Lauren went there. I can't remember, but Lauren had this awful reaction to peaches.
Oh.
But she didn't tell me about it till I got there. And she had red blotches everywhere, and it
my
was the syrup and the
gosh.
peaches or something.
Well, because it was canned peach or whatever peaches, right?
Canned
And Lauren is
peaches.
very sensitive to that stuff.
It's like, and it just
And she didn't tell you until you got
no.
there? That's
And then
awful.
I thought, what else? And it was just not quite.
A good fit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of a forced decision.
Yeah. But in that case, it's like you almost kind of are, if you're looking for something last minute
Yes,
and things don't
and
have openings.
you're needing, and you think, okay, I wanted a home one at that point. And
Yes,
Anyway, but that was a.
That was a bad forced decision.
I probably scarred her. I don't know. I have to ask her
You'll have to
about that.
ask her if it scarred her or not.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
But
So let's talk through, we kind of have some steps
yeah,
for like how to help make decisions. And
right.
I definitely, I'll kind of point out, there are definitely parts of this where I could very much get stuck
Okay.
in the decision making process. So first off, simple. You got to define your decision in a very, and I think in a clear way.
What are you looking at?
What's
are
the
you
goal?
looking at a college? Are you looking at a house?
Are you looking
a
at-
job, a childcare, a maybe wanting another child? I don't know. It can be any number of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That, and sometimes they don't seem big to other people, but they're big to us.
Yes.
So if it's big, it's big.
So like, what is the goal of the decision?
Right.
And maybe like, I would think if you're let's say you're looking at a car,
Yeah.
maybe laying out what your deal breakers
Get
are.
as specific
yeah,
as you can. And I was thinking about this, and one of the things I thought about was, and we'll talk about this later, but I think when you were looking at colleges, you were very methodical about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So one of the things is, so you defined what it is you're looking for. Then gather information. If it's a company you're looking into, look into the
See, and
company.
that's-
Maybe if it's an investment you're looking into, gather the
And that already would be a step I'd get stuck on.
Really?
Because I'd be like, okay, have I really got
All
all
the information.
of the information?
Oh.
Maybe I need to go back and look at the information again. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I need. Oh, that's absolutely one of the first steps I would get stuck on.
Interesting.
Did I get enough? Do I need to go read it again?
Okay.
Did I get the full
And
picture?
again, you know what? This tells you about your personality of how you go about making decisions. So these are guidelines, and you may use one
People
of
have
these
different-
more than another.
Yes, yeah.
But
yeah.
you do want to, gather your
Yeah,
information.
Yeah.
What is it that I'm really wanting out of this, and what,
Yeah.
And
then this kind of like goes off of the gather info is making the typical pros and cons. But then also
which
I think
is helpful.
I think another aspect to that, depending on what you're looking at, is the long term versus
Yes.
short term. That was interesting.
That was interesting, isn't it? To go, well, because we think about making a decision, we don't think 5 years down the road,
Yeah.
10 years down the road all the time.
yeah.
And we can't plan it. We can think
Necessarily,
it, but
yeah.
stuff will come up. But
Right.
it's like, okay, what is
The short term effect was long term.
Yeah, because I think about Paul and because he's different jobs that he's
Yeah.
taken. It's like, what does this is for now, but what does it offer me 3 years from now, 5 years from now?
Yeah.
He always has
What's the
this
next
long
step?
term next step. And, and sometimes we're thinking, well, what's the long term? What's the impact going to be? And that's something we miss sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether it be goals, whether it be,
Yeah.
it's children, childcare, what school they're going to go to, what they're going to do, or do I
Long-term
want
effects.
private? Do I not? Do I want to move? Do I not want? All these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then typical like pros and cons, which like it sounds so cliche, but I do think writing it out, at
Writing
least
it out
once-
is different than keeping it in your
It is.
head.
It is much
and
different
we're going to
than-
talk about another way of doing that
Yeah.
later. But
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it pros and cons, as cliche as that sounds.
Oh yeah.
When you see them,
Yeah. And then I think the next step too is another thing to consider is like outside pressures.
I don't think we give this one enough credit.
I'd get stuck there too.
Do you know?
I would get so stuck.
Yeah. When Paul and I were in Amarillo, when we first got married.
You're from hell.
Yes, and I was just miserable there. I was working.
But
I had started my master's in Fort Worth, and then I knew I wanted to finish it before I had children. And we were married a year maybe.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to go to Oklahoma City
University.
Yay,
Woo!
to to do a master's.
I will
And
say that still freaks me out sometimes that we both got a master's at the
I
same
would
school.
never imagine
I
you
will
being
never
there.
get over that. Anyway, keep
No.
going.
So, I got accepted and I had scholarship. It was going to be, but I was like, well, that would mean I would live in Amarillo.
No, you would live in Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma, and Paul would be in
Yeah.
Amarillo. And it was like, that's not what you do when you're married.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that because of outside pressure.
Really?
Yes. What's everybody going to say? What's my family going to think? That's not the way you do, And
Especially it's like the pressure of being a wife.
Yes. And Paul was going to look for a job in Oklahoma City, but they really don't have
No, not the engineering stuff he wanted.
Not that it wasn't for him. So he said, I'm going to start looking in Dallas area then when you're done. And he came in literally every weekend.
Yes. And
But-
I don't know how the weather worked for you guys that long, like 2
Only,
years.
yeah.
Right? 2 years.
2 years
That
because it
worked.
snows and all the time. I left my teacher told me I had a final coming up. She said, there's a storm coming in. It was Thanksgiving. She said, go ahead and go and deal with it later.
That's so nice of
And
him.
that was the only time. Yeah. And
but
so
like other than every weekend he would come in.
he would come
Insane.
every weekend. But after a year,
Yeah.
I called him and I was crying
Of course.
because this was not the marriage. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I see you, and we didn't have cell phones, so we called once, or
Once a week or whatever.
because
Yeah.
it was expensive. And I said, I need to stop this because I'm going to come. He said, no. He said, I'd rather have you crying there than here.
Smart.
So there you have it.
That is
But
so
that was
funny.
an outside pressure. I
Yes.
really had, and matter of
Yeah.
fact, I went in and had to talk to people, talk to
Yeah.
a therapist to go,
Yeah.
I need this for me. What do you,
Ha-
and, but what the thing that came from that was an extremely healthy respect for each other's goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul understood
Yeah.
my goal.
Right.
You know, and I knew that if I didn't do this before I had children, it'd be that
You
much
weren't-
harder, and I probably wouldn't, and I'd be resentful.
Yeah.
So there was all that long term. Talk about the long term was I knew I'd be resentful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
in the long term too, knowing
because
like
my ADD, I can't do like you. I can't have
I
a
know.
kid and go to
Well,
school.
I know it's a lot, but I can manage for
do.
now.
Yeah.
But and I think too, the long term for both of you, just knowing like our marriage is gonna last through it. You know,
This is 2 years out of your marriage.
yeah.
This,
I mean,
this is that's 2 out of how long? You know,
yeah.
30 some
And
odd.
what you guys are gonna
So,
go on
yeah.
30 coming
Yeah.
up.
No, you're 30, 34 years.
34 years this. Oh my gosh, and then
you
I should be
imagine?
35. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
But
anyway,
yeah, it's like 2 years.
So those outside pressures, be aware of them.
Yeah.
And how you can block those out.
See, and this
to
is-
go, but this is mine. It's not going to impact it. It is mine.
I know, and that's one thing I usually have to get over is I love, as we talked about with our Enneagram podcast, I love other people's opinions. I like their input because to me that feels like, okay, it's reassuring for me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the end, who does it affect?
Yeah.
You know, depending on the decision, like, okay, it's going to affect, this one is for me.
Right.
How much should I really be, listening to other people about it?
Yeah,
you
you do.
Yeah.
And there's certain ways of listening to people. And if they're respectful of you, then they're not going to, it's not a peer pressure type of thing.
Right.
Right.
Right. And then, so these next two steps, I think, kind of go hand in hand. One says trust your instincts, and then the next one is like sit and quiet and journal. And I think for me, I can understand what my instincts are better if I give myself the time to journal, if I
have
give
that.
myself the time to sit and quiet, because otherwise, like if I'm not going to listen to myself.
That's
know.
good. Yeah. Yeah. And I do by instincts.
Oh yeah, you
a
do.
lot. I
You
can,
really do.
Unfortunately, I can make decisions for everybody
You
with my
really
instincts,
can.
but I hold them
Oh,
in
it
because
drives me
they're not mine
crazy.
to make. Yeah, and so, but you do trust. I mean, there's something to listening to yourself. Whether journaling, maybe you go for a walk and clear your head that way.
Yeah.
But a way to clear your head, clear your thoughts, and listen. And I think that's part of the. We start out talking about just pray about it. That's part of the prayer. Is you have what you need within you.
Right.
You have that divine whatever you want to call it. That's within you when you listen. That's part of it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I truly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this next one, you've been the decision
The
tree.
decision tree. Now, I hadn't, so I'm going to read a little bit about it. The decision tree, it's a powerful tool, from improving the process. It's a visual diagram. And for those who need the visual.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's true because I can think, I had that idea but then it's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you kind of map things out when you face a complex decision. Start by, of course, identify your goal and the question, at the top. And then you have different branches of possibilities.
Yeah.
And if I make this decision with it, what could possibly be the outcomes? If I go this way, what's the outcomes? And then they branch off from there
Right.
even. 2 years down the road, you're looking at the long term, you're
Yeah.
looking at the short term.
Yeah, I think it almost
and
like
you can use Post-it notes.
Yeah, and I think the decision tree can just like combine the pros and cons list and the long term and short term, and just like a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, because my mind can get really scattered, and I feel like that's just a way to like put it all out there in one,
Yes.
cohesive.
And maybe you see the obstacles or the
Yeah.
possibilities or the negatives, and you can.
Yeah.
It's just a great way to see them, and I thought that helps me.
Definitely.
To do that.
to get all together.
Yeah.
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 And so
And the other thing, let me say, your values
Yes.
are going to show up in there. What do you
Yeah.
value? Well, I want this job. I will not have any time for the travel time is going to be an hour each way. That's 2 hours away from my family if you have family.
Yeah.
Or that,
Or chairs to
I
not
won't
be with yourself.
to not be with, not be able to participate in things that you want to participate in. It, and maybe it's a managerial role, and that's not my
Style.
that's
or
not my
whatever.
thing.
Yeah.
And just there's
Yeah.
so many things to
Yes.
consider that.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to touch on a little bit. What does it feel like when you make the right, when you feel like you've made the right decision? You come to a decision. And I know this is very loaded.
Yeah. Well,
But it's like, I think, okay.
it feels like, and it depends. I mean, there are sometimes where there's just a thing, and you can just feel this relief.
Yes. Yeah.
And it may mean I'm going to have some tough times ahead. Mm-hmm. But I know this is the right thing.
Yeah.
Just because I had some friends that moved to Arkansas. They've lived here, I don't know how long, for as long as I know.
Yeah.
And to be next to their grandkids. Well, it was the right decision for them, and they felt that. But
it's
there was
hard.
great sadness. There was great unknown. There was
Yeah.
even the right decision isn't going to go wee all the time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
You know?
Because I've definitely had some
Yeah.
decisions you make and you're like, oh, awesome, this is gonna be so good. And then, my divorce was a big, that feels like the absolute right thing to do.
Yes.
But then, oh my God,
Then now
happening?
what? Because it's
Yeah.
even the right decision has unknowns to it.
Yeah.
And some people would rather sit in the yucky known than the
Yes.
scary unknown.
Well, and that's what our body wants to do. Our body wants
Yeah.
to stay, and like we are built,
Safety.
yes, to be like, well, you know what this is. So
Yeah.
even if it's not good, you need to stay
Yeah,
here.
at least you know how to walk around the landmines here.
Yes.
You don't
It's
know
like,
what
but what
landmines
happens
are out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And I almost think like when it comes to decisions, that's probably why some of them are so hard.
Yeah.
It's just because you're generally making a decision to go towards something that you don't fully
that you
know.
don't fully know.
Yeah.
Like we really think we know anything.
I
anyway, because I know,
know.
but I know what you
But
mean.
it's like
but
whether
it
you're,
is.
even if it's something like you feel very confident in the area that you want to live in, you
Mm-hmm.
feel confident with what house you want, but it's still going to be something new. You're going to be in a different, who knows if you are going to be further away from friends or whatever. That's an unknown. Going to college, that's an unknown.
There's
a happy
yeah.
one, but like still. And so it's just like, I feel like that's why bigger decisions like that, not the little ones,
Yeah.
but like bigger decisions like that are always so hard, and
Mm-hmm.
people say pray about it, okay, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's the unknown part of
Yeah.
it that makes, I think, people uneasy making them.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think the pray about it part is it's listening to within,
Yeah.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
not a passive thing. Praying about it is not in any way, shape, or form passive.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing. It's like
We
you
have
pray about it and you're like,
tools.
okay, so I just sit there and wait
No.
until I hear something.
Yeah,
No.
Every once in a while you might get a look,
Maybe.
but not on these. But you still need to look at the full.
Yeah.
And so it may feel, for me, there usually is this sense of relief
Mm-hmm.
to know I've made the right decision.
Yeah.
Then you have to act on it. Okay, I'm thinking of one situation right now where a person I know that has made this decision. She knows what she's going to do,
Mm-hmm.
but she can't act on it yet.
Oh.
You have to kind of wait
Mm.
and go, well, it would be better to relay this information in 2 weeks than right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's like, okay, I'll wait.
And you hold on to it.
And so you hold on to it, but there's this, okay, well, I know what I'm going to do. At least that's
yeah, at
done.
least you've made,
You
some
don't know how it's
decision
going
on
to
it,
come
yeah.
about. But there's there's a lot of things,
Yeah.
okay, we made a decision to move. The house didn't decide to sell,
That's true, it didn't. You guys have the worst luck on that stuff.
We do. We move at the most inopportune
horrible
times for the
times.
economy.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh, it's awful. But we
Yeah,
make it.
you got to.
So
Oh, man.
I tell you how I made one decision
Yeah. Yeah.
is Dad was traveling over. He was in Ireland, and he was on his way back in the middle of the air. And I had this revelation in the middle of the night that I need to call the realtor and decide to sell.
Yeah.
Anyway, because
Yeah.
they have a low ball offer. And so I called him. I said, have they signed? He said, oh, they're in the process of putting a contract on another home. I said, well, tell them to come back. And he did. And we took this
Lower offer.
A lower offer. And when I picked Paul up at the airport, I said, honey, I sold the house, and you want to know the price of my sanity?
Yes.
And it was like, okay, what are you going to do? Because he was already living somewhere else.
Who's going to be the one managing it? Like, come on.
And
He's going to be working a new job.
He was already half living here.
Yes,
and so
he was.
It was funny, but it was like, well, that's how I made that decision. The price of my sanity. Money comes, money goes.
Yeah, that's right. I like that one.
It goes a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, so it...
Yeah.
How did it feel? It felt good, but no. But you know, the other thing I want to just quickly note is not making a decision
is a
decision.
That's
and
right.
Then you can, and watch it because that's sabotage. You can blame it on something else.
True, because you never technically.
I didn't decide that, and look what happened.
That's good too.
Yeah.
It's like a whole other podcast right there.
Yeah, isn't it? I love it.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. We've got some fun ones coming up.
Yes, we've got a couple. We've got one talking about resetting, mindset resetting, and then another one that's going to be talking about rest, especially as we get towards holiday time, how to build that in and how important it is for sure.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
And we've still got our TikTok going now.
TikTok, man. I got to figure it out. I get on there and
I'm like, what is happening?
Where do I find things?
Yes, Instagram should be having some more posts and stuff. So that's been
YouTube.
fun. Yes, and if you've got ideas, please just let us know. That's how this episode came about.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. So we look forward to next week when you take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.